Drum compression is not easy. I know there's a lot that can go wrong. Today, I want to show you a safe and easy way how to compress your drum bus. I want to walk you through every single parameter, and I'm going to use an SSL type compressor so you can do the exact same thing at home. I'm going to show you my favorite settings and show you why they work pretty well for all kinds of rock and metal drums. Time to get compressed, baby. The drum bus compressor, for me, is by far the most important compressor on your drums. But why is that? First of all, it sounds like a cliche, but it will glue your tracks together. It will turn a bunch of cymbals and drums and microphones into one instrument, and that is so important. If you dial it in correctly, it will also increase the punch of your snare and kick drum especially. It will even out the performance of a drummer, it will even out the dynamics, and very often it will actually give your drums more attitude because it brings up the nice sounding room. So there's a lot that a drum bus compressor can do for you if you know how to dial it in correctly. But most importantly, I guess it just makes your drums sound a little more like they are on a record, if you know what I mean. What you are about to watch is a little part of a course that is called Bingo, Drum Bus Compression inside my academy, Kohle Audio Kult. Check it out, there's a link below. There are a lot more courses there. So if you like the way how I explain things, have a look at my academy, become a member, I'll see you there. Enough talking, what we want is compression. Here we go. The main compressor that I use is an analog hardware compressor that you can see here, the green compressor, which is basically a clone of an SSL bus compressor, which is the most famous VCA compressor there is, and it's a classic for drum bus compression. That means everything you see in this video can be repeated, can be tried, can be checked out on any SSL type compressor. Can be a plugin, can be hardware. There are just two things that are special. Here you see processed and unprocessed. That means I can mix the compressed signal with the unprocessed signal, which is something that most compressor plugins and a lot of hardware SSL type compressors also offer these days. Parallel compression, you will see it, is crucial for the way how I treat my drum bus. The other thing being this here, this is the sidechain filter. If you don't know what a sidechain filter is, a sidechain filter removes the lower frequencies, in this case the lower frequencies, from the sidechain circuit of the compressor, which means the lower frequencies are not triggering the compression as much as they normally would do. And that gives us a more gentle, a more forgiving, a more subtle kind of compression, especially because the bass drum is not hitting the compressor that hard. Having understood that, the rest of this lovely green looking box here is pretty much an SSL compressor. So I am in Cubase right now, and I've opened a session of a band called TENSIDE. There are links below, check out that band. Right now we are listening to the rough drums. They have a good balance, they're roughly mixed. There are maybe 2 or 3 plugins somewhere, but this is not a final drum mix. Let's have a listen without any compression. So let's have a look at this compressor. I want to explain all those different parameters for you, and it will show you how I use them. Let's just turn on the compressor and see what happens. So we can hear there's a lot of compression going on. It's over the top, sounds like some kind of broken effect compression. That's not what we want. Okay, let's talk about the parameters. We've got our attack, which determines how fast the compression kicks in once the level of the input signal gets above the threshold. Let's start with the attack. Well, the most common mistake that people do when they compress drums is to have the attack too fast, because they think we're talking about drums, it needs to be very fast. If it is too fast, and this is what's happening right now, you see I'm on the fastest setting, it will just cut off your transients. So you need to lengthen the attack time until you feel that your transients of kick drum and especially snare drum are coming through, cutting through before the compression starts. Let's do that now. So you can hear that the snare attack is almost gone. And now I can hear the snare. Even more. Let's go back to the fastest setting and you will see that starting from 3 milliseconds, I can hear the important, like the attack of the snare really cutting through and not getting crashed by the compression. Here I feel like we don't have any compression happening anymore. That's just too slow. It's either 3 milliseconds or 10 milliseconds. Most of the time I'm going for 3 because it's a nice compromise. We get some decent compression, but it's not killing anything. All right. That already sounds a lot better. Let's talk about the release time. So what is the release time doing to our drums? There are 2 things you must remember. First of all, the faster the release time is, the more invisible and maybe also the more natural or organic the compression will sound. And if you make it very slow, then the compression becomes more audible because you can hear the compressor working. You can hear it pumping. Let's have a listen. Go from fast to slow. So this sounds very unnatural. We can hear the compressor pump. So slow settings don't really work. One more thing you need to remember is the faster the release time, the more of the room signal you will hear. So if you want to emphasize the room signal without making the compression kind of obvious or something, try a very, very short release time. Let's just listen to the room. And that is because right after the kick or right after the snare transient, it doesn't take a lot of time for the compression to go back again. Which means there's just a very short moment where things are getting compressed and then the answer, the response of the room is being emphasized. So we really want to go for a fast release time if we want to have some kind of invisible compression, if we don't want to hear any obvious compression artifacts, any pumping. I usually go for the fastest setting on the SSL compressor if I want a sound like this, which is maybe 20% of the time. Most of the time, and now we are talking about my standard setting, is the auto release, which sounds very different again. With the auto release, which you will hear in a second, you will get a higher compression, a lot more compression, so it looks like a lot, but it's not moving that much. So you end up with maybe 2 or 3 dB of compression when it looks like 6 dB, and it just goes down again on the very, very quiet passages. So it's a very natural way, a very organic way, an automatic way of compressing your drums. Let's have a listen. And you see that the needle is moving between 6 and 9 dB most of the time, and now it's slowly going down. So if you have a quieter part, let's just fake that by just turning on the overheads. You know, the needle goes down into this area. We'll apply the same amount of compression here between 0 and 3, but we'll make that part louder. So we got 3 dB of compression on a quieter part like this, and 3 dB of compression on a louder part, just on a different level. A very intelligent way of compressing. Now, that already sounds a lot better. Let's just compare this to our uncompressed drums. A lot more compact, glued together, huge difference. Also a lot more punch, but I get it. The compression is a little bit too extreme maybe for a standard setting. So what can we do to improve this? Well, this is where the sidechain comes in. So you can get the compressor to react a lot more gently and a lot more relaxed by just cranking this sidechain. So I go all the way up to, 200 Hertz. That removes a lot of the lower frequencies from the sidechain and makes the compression, let's say, more relaxed, less audible, less forced. Let's have a listen. Especially with many kick drums that we have in metal, you can hear that the kick drum is really making the whole thing pump. And like this, it opens up. Let's bypass again. And you see we are getting less compression. Now it's only 6 dB max. Well, but it's still a little too extreme. And we haven't talked about the ratio. And what does ratio mean? It actually determines the amount of compression that we get. Like 2:1, 4:1, and 10:1 is what we have here. What does that mean? Well, if you are on 2:1 and raise the input signal by 10 dB, you will get a compression of 5 dB and have 5 dB louder output. If you go to 10:1, same 10 dB at the input, you will only have 1 dB at the output. So there's 9 dB of compression. And let me tell you one thing, I never go higher than 2:1 because the 2:1 ratio in SSL just sounds perfect for drums, because the 4:1 setting that we have been listening to all the time in this video is simply too grabby for me. So by reducing this, we can furthermore make the compression more relaxed and make the compression less obvious. So this just sounds a little forced. And this is more relaxed. And now we're really close to something that sounds completely natural to my ears, despite being 6 dB of compression. Let's bypass one more time now with the right ratio. And I think now we can actually add a little more compression because it's only 4 dB or something. And this is what I told you before, where we adjust the threshold. So I will go a little lower. And I try not to go higher than 6 dB usually. Let's listen to this part again and listen to the ghost notes and all the details. Let's start one more time with the compressor. And now without. Okay, now we can do one final step, and that is add the parallel compression. This is how I do it. I don't have a mix knob here, I have process and unprocessed. And process is always fully on, I never touch it. And then I just mix in a touch of the unprocessed signal to just make things a little more clean and to get some of the original transients back. So much better. That's how I compress drums. That's how I do it. That's my sound. And those are the settings that I use all the time. Again, sometimes I use the faster release time, especially if I want the room to be a little more prominent, maybe 10 or 20% of the time. And then sometimes I go even slower on the attack. But these are my standard settings and they work pretty much all the time. I gotta interrupt you here. That's all I wanted to show you today. I hope you could take away something for your next production. I hope you could learn something about how to compress your drums. Once again, this is a part of a course, and there are a lot more courses. So if you like the way how I explain stuff, check out the link below to the Academy Kohle Audio Cult. There are a lot of different courses about drums, about guitars, courses that I did, but also courses from other people. There's an entire drum recording course with Adam Nolly Getgood, for example. And if you become a member of the Academy, you will get all our courses from day one, and also free IRs and samples and plugins and a lot of cool stuff. And you'll become a member of a pretty cool community, right? And you join a cult. Joining a cult is very heavy metal. That's something you should do, right? That's all for today. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel as well, and to ring the ding dong bell if you want to see more videos. Leave a comment. Let me know if you learned something, right? I'm always trying to answer the comments. If you have questions, shoot below. That's all for today. I see you in hell, dear motherfuckers. Bye-bye.